Hey there, Mike Robinson with BlackHawk Paramotor USA. It's February and it is colder than heck. In fact, it's almost March and we're freezing. What we're going to talk about today is the new Kestrel V3. This frame has sold more to people just to put motors on than any other frame we've had in the past. It is very lightweight. The real cool features about this frame is its rigidity. This frame is super strong. It is as strong as most double hoop frames. And that's really important. A lot of people, particularly bigger guys, put more, what would you call it?
Just bigger motors, heavier weight, power forwards, where the tendency for hoops to come in. This doesn't come in at all. It's rigid.
Yeah, very
How
rigid.
It should be.
Yet still very, very lightweight. Show us a couple of the new features that you've added to the Kestrel V3.
Well, first off, on the original Kestrel frames and the V2s, they were fairly weak in the kickstand area stuff. So what we've done is reinforced it, and by going with the teardrop style hoop that we've done now, which has added a lot to the rigidity, we've been able to weld that across here and then bring the kickstand underneath it. We've also added a brace, additional brace that comes into here. We did have a problem in here. If people butt landed a bit or something, we could end up with cracking here. This being reinforced has pretty much solved that. We also raised the fuel tank up. So fuel tank sits right in the tray here, so to speak, but we've raised this up a bit. Part of that will be for possibly fuel injection later and a place to put the fuel pump, but also just to keep everything up off the ground a little bit more rather than having fuel lines down close. Instead of having banana brackets, spacers, and all the other stuff that we used to use, we came up with just a engine mounting plate. These get CNC'd, and how I have this set up is I've slotted this. This allows you to move your thrust line over to the left. By moving the thrust line over to the left actually helps a lot with getting rid of a lot of the torque effect. We can't go too far over to the left or else you're going to have the prop coming off, hitting the hoop, so to speak. So there has to be some clearance. But 1 inch really makes a big difference. And the lighter the person, the more torque affects them. The heavier, the less it affects them. So this allows you to move it back and forth a little bit.
On my unit, I barely moved it at all.
Yeah.
And it made a big difference. In that video of me launching at the Salton Sea, it was basically no hands. And I went perfectly straight. It's a pretty cool deal. And Mike's right, the bigger guys have less effect, the smaller guys have more effect with the weight shift. The other thing that is really cool about this is this fits the BlackHawk 125, it fits the Talon, it fits the new 210, which you guys will be excited to see and hear about, and the Versatility Monster.
All in the same template. So any of those motors, you can just bolt straight up to this frame. So we chose pretty much the most popular ones on the market. So you can, if you have an existing Monster and want to change frames, you can bolt it right up.
Okay, those are some great features, but I really noticed something significant at the Salton Sea. We got to fly quite a bit, which is pretty awesome. But tell me about the thrust line changes.
Compared to the version 2, we used to have the swing arms mounted down here lower. So what we did was brought everything up. We also made the frame taller to accommodate that, which helped with a couple of other things also. But pretty much everybody who paramotors knows that, you know, as far as the thrust line goes, we always want it to have a little bit below where our pivot point is. The pivot point is your point off the swing arm where your carabiner's going around. So by doing all this, we was able, in any position that you have to do as far as like a CG adjustment, that your thrust line remains below that. We had some issues before where it actually would come up above it, causing more of a pitch effect being pushed over forward pretty much.
And there's a lot of paramotor manufacturers that have this problem, a lot. And we noticed that, and we noticed that we had a little bit of that effect with the version 2 Kestrel. So it was a project, but we balanced that out, and
five prototype projects.
That's true.
To get it right.
But the pitch difference is substantial.
Yeah.
You also mentioned some of the other things, and with the frame being taller and wider, you were able to make the struts or the rods shorter as well.
A lot shorter, yeah.
And
which
that
made it more solid.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it's really worked out very, very well. Again, same features like the version 2. We can split this in half, so it's easier to pack down if you want to put it in a suitcase type deal for traveling. So we're very, very happy with this. It came out nice.
One thing I'll point out, we've made titanium frames, we've made lighter frames.
Yeah.
We don't feel that we're doing a customer justice.
No.
They might be a couple pounds lighter, but they are nowhere near as rigid or strong. We all slip, we all trip, we all fall. Pulling out your checkbook and having to buy expensive frame components, in our opinion, is not worth it.
Yep.
This frame weighs the same as the original Kestrel V2, even though it has
with banana brackets.
With banana brackets, that's true.
With banana brackets and spacers. That was a sacrifice of weight that we put actually just right back into the frame. And it's worth it.
I agree.
In my opinion.
So,
also note that this is a matte black finish, which is something that we're going to be doing a few of each order that we do.
We're selling a lot of these already.
People want it.
I just let the shop know that 50% of our sales are going to be the special edition, special ops, matte black. And obviously this is the silver. It's a silver metallic. The black parts of the frame are metallic as well. So when you see it up close, you'll see, wow, it really shines, and it definitely has metallic in it. It's beautiful. This is my machine here, and you can see that it is the black metallic. It's not the matte black. I'm going to get myself a matte black special edition, special ops, but it does look pretty cool. We're really happy with it, and the sales are pretty significant. So the Molster, we sold quite a few Molsters on the frame.
This is actually a customer who's coming to pick it up tomorrow.
Great. The Molsters have been performing very well. Behind you, what have you got behind you, Mike?
This is our new 210. Little more horsepower than the Molster has, and it's the same weight. HE developed this motor. It's 210 cc's electric start.
It only comes in electric start.
It only comes in electric start. There is no pull start option for this, but it comes in the same weight as the Molster does, and produces quite a bit of thrust. The guys that we've had test flying it and everything have been pretty impressed with it.
Yeah, its first flight was with Ben Muir all the way around the Salton Sea.
Yeah.
And there's been quite a few hours put on the test ones as well.
Yeah.
It's a nice engine. It runs very smooth. It gets good fuel mileage, about the same as the Molster as the Talon does.
Yeah.
But why did we just put electric start on that motor, Mike?
Well, currently working on electronic fuel injection for these. So I've got one motor I've been running for quite a while now. We're going to adapt that over to the 210. So having electric start makes sense because we're going to have a battery in there anyways. So
makes sense.
That's what we're working on.
And EFI is the next step for PPG.
Yep, we're working on it. But another interesting thing that we've done is swing arms.
Wow, a pair of acro arms.
Yep.
The acro arms are developed similar to our tubed aluminum arms. There is a ton of room for you just to hold your arms down or dangle your arms. There's room for you to move your arms forward. That's really important. We've flown so many different machines, different manufacturers' machines, and you know, a lot of them fly great, but it seems to be that the swing arms are always an issue. And with the cross countries being done now, comfortability, letting go of the toggles, not having to active pilot all the time is kind of paramount in your cross countries. You've got to rest those arms. And these arms are very, very comfortable.
Yep.
They include a bronze bushing inside. It's an 8mm 9.7 bolt What is also cool is we have spacers available. If you want to shift the arms over to one side, we can give you the spacers to shift the arms over. If you're a bigger guy, and this is really important because there's a lot of big guys that don't fit in normal machines. We can make this thing quite wide, and you can add the XL or the XXL harness as well.
Pretty much we spent a lot of time looking at what's good about a lot of stuff on the market, and trying to combine all that along with stuff that we have and come up with a solution that works. That's where I'm at.
That's what we're all at. You know, we really try to provide the best quality equipment. I believe that we are the innovators in this sport. I don't think anybody has a number of motors or quads, trikes, etc. available that we do. We're always pushing the envelope, so to speak. But part of that equation is keeping the prices down.
Yeah.
It's hard for people to spend a lot of money to see if they like something.
Yep.
And frankly, it is important for us to offer equipment that's well priced and back it with very good customer service. All right, well, I think we've covered the new Kestrel V3 pretty well. If you have any questions whatsoever, y'all know that you can give us a call at any time.
Except Sundays or ridiculous hours in the morning.
He gets kind of angry. Anyway, the Kestrel V3 frames are available at times for purchase separately from a package. We've been selling an awful lot of these frames. We're building as many as we can right now. But if you're interested in a frame only, give us a call. Last thing is I'd like to give a shout out to Ben Muir, Freedom Paramotors, for supplying Mike and I with these great hats. And for those of you dealers out there that have hats, get them over to us. We'll feature them in one of the videos as well. Or if you just have another business, we'll be glad to wear your hat as well. So thanks, Ben, in Nashville, Tennessee. Great guy. Ty Downing helps him out, another great guy. And if you're anywhere in the Midwest, give those guys a shout.
Thanks. Have a good one.